Hello students, welcome in today's lecture. Here we are discussing the point of the kingdom Protista. In previous lecture we have seen the kingdom Protista is a group which is mainly divided into Chrysophyta, Dinoflagellates, Euglenids, slime molds and the protozoans. So already we have completed this part of the kingdom Protista up to this slime mold, and now we are discussing the point that is the kingdom Protista, and from that the protozoans. So protozoans is the last group of this kingdom, and these protozoans are called as the primitive animals. They are called as the primitive animals because the characteristics which are found in this group are somewhat similar to the behavior of the animals. That's why they are called as the primitive animals. The main important characteristics of these protozoans are they mainly are predators or parasites. That means sometimes they present inside the body of the other organism that we call as a parasite, while sometimes they capture the prey and fulfill their requirement of the nutrition, and that is called as a predator. Predator means the organism which always feed on the prey, that is called as the predator. So predator or the parasite is the mode of the nature in these protozoans, and they are called as primitive animals because their behavior is like that of the animal. These protozoans are again divided into four groups, and those groups are the amoeboid protozoan, the flagellated protozoan, the ciliated protozoan, and the last part is the sporozoan. So these protozoans are divided into the first type is called as amoeboid protozoan. In last lecture, we have written the four names: amoeboid, flagellated, ciliated, and the last one is the sporozoan. So we will discuss one by one the type of this protozoan. Amoeboid protozoan, and the example which we have discussed here, that are the amoeba. And another example of it is entamoeba. Now see, all of you are well known about the structure of the amoeba. Okay, if this is the structure of the amoeba, you know that this amoeba is a irregular shape structure, having the irregular shape. Okay, this amoeba has the temporary projection from their body, and the temporary projections are called as the pseudopodia. Like that, the same structure is found in the another example which is called as the entamoeba. So this is the structure of the amoeba, and same structure is of the somewhat same structure is like that of the entamoeba, and these two examples are included in this amoeboid protozoans. So what is the characteristics of this amoeboid protozoan? So as we told that these are the parasites or they are the predators. Okay, so this amoeba is acts as a predator because there is a pseudopodia, and which is called as a false feet. The pseudopodia are called as a false feet because they are temporary projection of this amoeba. They are not permanent one, and with the help of this pseudopodia they capture their food. So pseudopodia are called as a temporary feet in this amoeba. Okay, this is the example of the predator, that means it captures prey and fulfill their food requirement. But the next example which is given is the entamoeba, and entamoeba is a parasite. It is a parasite which is present in the body of the human being, and it causes the disease that is called as the dysentery. So entamoeba is a parasite while amoeba is a predator, and these are the two examples given in this amoeboid protozoan. Now we have to see the habitat of this amoeboid protozoan, their shell, if they have present the shell, which is the composition of their cell which is present on the outer surface. And now we will see why this locomotive organ is pseudopodia there, because due to the pseudopodia they capture their food. So this amoeboid protozoan, if we see their structure, then which points are important here, that we will discuss now. Okay. So first point is that where they are found, they are present in fresh water. They will be also found in sea water, or they may found in a moist soil. It is their habitat. Okay, it is the first important thing from this amoeboid protozoan. Second one is that if they are free living, they are not present inside the body of the other organism, then they capture their prey with the help of pseudopodia. So just I have told you that pseudopodia are the organelle which is also called as false feet, because it is a temporary projection from the body of the amoeba. While amoeba capture the food, it is useful to amoeba for capturing its food. And this pseudopodia are also important because it acts as a locomotive organelle. With the help of the pseudopodia, amoeba can move from one place to the other place. So this pseudopodia, which is called as false feet, are required to this amoeba for the capturing its prey. Okay. Then next point is that the entamoeba, which is called as a parasite. So second point is that if the parasitic form is there, such as the entamoeba, then it is present in the body of the human being, and where it causes the disease called as dysentery. So parasitic form were found in the human body and cause the disease that is called as the dysentery. Okay, these are the important things about this amoeboid protozoans or amoeboid protozoans. Then some of these amoeboid protozoans have the shell on their body surface. The protective covering is present that we call as a shell, and that shell is made up of an important substance, and that important substance is called as the silica. That means shell is made up of the non-destructible material, hard substance, and the name of that substance is the silica. So this is about the first group of the protozoan, that is called as amoeboid protozoan. Important thing is that their examples amoeba and entamoeba. Amoeba acts as a predator while the entamoeba acts as a parasite. Entamoeba produce the disease dysentery, which is called as generally amoebic dysentery, and amoeba do not act as a parasite. It is a free living. Second type is that they are found in fresh water, sea water, as well as they are found in the moist soil. Pseudopodia is a temporary projection of this amoeba or entamoeba, which acts as a locomotive organ, as well as which is useful for capturing the prey. It is also called as false feet because it is not a permanent organ. It is a temporary organ. After finishing their work, it again removed from that body part, or it again reabsorbed in that body part. And here some amoeboid protozoan have the outer covering, which is hard one, that is called as a shell, and it is made up of the hard substance that is called as a silica. Okay, so all these points are important from the exam point of view. Their examples: amoeba, entamoeba, silica, which is the outermost covering of the shell in some amoeboid protozoan, not in all, and the dysentery, the disease caused by the entamoeba, and pseudopodia, which is called as a false feet. These things are only found in this amoeboid protozoans. So these points are very important. Read it carefully. Then the second group of this protozoan, and that is called as the flagellated protozoan. Second group is called as flagellated protozoans. An example of these flagellated protozoans is the trypanosoma. Okay, now there are number of examples of these flagellated protozoans, but one example is given in NCERT, that is the trypanosoma. If you want to know the structure of the trypanosoma, then you will find such a type of structure of trypanosoma is there, and this is the structure that is called as the flagella. It is the flagella. Okay, so this is flagella, and that's why the organisms are called as the flagellated protozoans. Then, what is the characteristics of this flagellated protozoan? The name indicates itself that the organisms or protozoans which are present in this group having the flagella. Because in amoeboic protozoan we have seen that they have the pseudopodia. Like that, the flagella is another locomotive organelle which is present in some groups of these protozoans, and that's why they are called as the flagellated protozoan. They are called as the flagellated protozoans. Okay, trypanosoma is the example. Now we'll see the importance of that trypanosoma. But first thing is that what is the characteristics of these flagellated protozoans? They are maybe free living or parasitic. That means some are free living, live freely in the nature, do not cause any harm to the other organism. That means they are do not parasite in the body of the other organism, while some are the parasitic present inside the body of the other organism. Second important thing is that they have the flagella, which is one of the important locomotory organelle in this organism, with the help of which it can move from one place to the another place. And third important point is that this trypanosoma, where we have drawn the diagram on the board, is a parasite which cause the disease in the human being, and the name of that disease is the sleeping sickness. Name of that disease is the sleeping sickness. See here, this trypanosoma is a parasite which is generally carried out in the body of the human being with the help of the insect, and name of that insect is sesefly. Name of that insect is sesefly. This information is extra, is not given in the NCERT, but you should know what is the trypanosoma and who is responsible for transmission of this trypanosoma into the body of the human being. So sesefly is the name of insect which brings this trypanosoma inside the body of the human being, and this trypanosoma cause a disease that is called as sleeping sickness. The name of that disease is called as sleeping sickness. Then what is mean by sleeping sickness? Sleeping sickness is such a disease where the person cannot sleep properly. There are a lot of disturbances in his sleep, and it is due to the infection of this parasite, which is called as the trypanosoma. Okay, so this is about the second group, that is called as the flagellated protozoans. Okay, these flagellated protozoans, main example of it is the trypanosoma, which has a flagella as a main locomotive organelle, and this trypanosoma acts as a parasite. The important disease of this trypanosoma is the sleeping sickness. Number of times this question is asked that there is one column given where the name of the different organisms are there, and in another column there are the list of the diseases, and in that the name of this is sleeping sickness, then definitely answer of the sleeping sickness is the trypanosoma. So this is about the second group of the protozoa, and that is called as the flagellated protozoan. Now the third group of the protozoan, and that is called as the ciliated protozoan. Ciliated protozoan. This ciliated protozoan includes the well-known example, and that is the paramecium. The well-known example is the paramecium. Number of students are well known about the structure of the paramecium. Paramecium is the slipper-shaped animals. Okay, all over the body of there is present such a hair-like structure, and that structure is called as the cilia. So next to pseudopodia, flagella, Cilia is the structure with the help of which it carry out the locomotion. So that's why it is included in a group that is called as a ciliated protozoan. These cilia are present all over the body of this paramecium, and here one of the important structure is there, and that structure is called as the gullet. That structure is called as the gullet. So you have to keep in mind the two important thing is that example of the ciliated protozoan is the paramecium, and inside the paramecium there is one of the important cavities present, and that is called as the gullet. Okay, the diagrams are also not given in NCERT, but before studying the example very well, you should know the structure of that particular organism. That's why I have drawn the structure of the paramecium here, and what is the important things in this ciliated protozoan that we are going to discuss now. So these ciliated protozoans are having the important point is that they have cilia all over the body. Okay, they are mainly aquatic, found mainly in water bodies, and they have one cavity inside their body, that the name of that cavity is called as gullet, which opens outside the body surface. This gullet has opening over or on the outer surface, that means it is open on the surface of this paramecium. Second important thing is that with the help of cilia, with the help of this cilia, what happens? Food along with water enters in gullet. This gullet is a cavity where food along water get entered into this gullet, but it is due to the help of this cilia. So cilia is responsible for intake of food along with water, and that intake of food and water comes inside this gullet part of the paramecium. Okay, so important thing of the ciliated protozoans are that they are aquatic. You will observe it mainly in the water body. Second point is that they have a cavity, and the name of that cavity is called as a gullet, which opens on the surface of the paramecium, or which opens on the surface of the body of the paramecium. Second thing is that the food along with water enters into this gullet part of the paramecium, and it requires the help of the cilia. So we can say that with the help of cilia, food and water enters into the gullet of the paramecium. So important thing from the MCQ point of view is that gullet is the characteristics of the ciliated protozoan. Example of ciliated protozoan is the paramecium. Then where it is found? It is present in the aquatic habitat. It is present in the aquatic habitat. Okay, so these are the important things of this ciliated protozoan. Not any parasitic form can be found in the ciliated protozoan. Parasitic forms are found in amoeboid group, in the flagellated group, and the next group that we are now discussing, that is the sporozoans. But it is the free from parasitic form. So it is also important that in which group of the protozoan parasitic forms are not present. The answer is of that is ciliated protozoan. Okay, and the last group of the protozoan is called as the sporozoan. So fourth group of the protozoa is the sporozoan, and their example is Plasmodium. Okay, what is the characteristics of this group? Important characteristics is that they are diverse in number. That means it includes number of the organisms which has different structure. Their number is uncountable, so it is called as diverse in number. Most of them are parasitic, infectious. Okay, they present inside the body of the human being and cause the disease, and the well-known example of it is that spore stage is parasitic or spore stage is infectious and it causes the disease malaria. See here what is important from this point of the sporozoan. Sporozoan, the name is given to this group because it's produce the spores. So what is meant by spore? Spore means rounded seed-like structure is produced by this plasmodium, because example is the plasmodium. And what is important that they produce the spore-like structure, and that spore-like structure if get inside the body of the human being, or if it is get infected that spore-like stage to the human being, then there will be disease, and the name of that disease is called as the malaria. Because some of the students are known that the disease malaria is caused by the organism that is called as a plasmodium. So plasmodium is a protozoan which cause the disease malaria in the human being. But this protozoan plasmodium is not directly responsible for the disease malaria in the human being, because it or the disease malaria is carried toward the human being by a vector, by a carrier, and the name of that carrier or vector is called as the mosquito. So mosquito is the insect which first infect the person who has the malaria. So while it suck the blood from that malaria patient, he take the spore stage of the malaria inside its body, and when that same mosquito bite to the other healthy person, then it inject that spores to the healthy person and cause the disease malaria to healthy person. म्हणजे मी काय सांगितलं बघा, इथं इन्सेक्ट म्हणजेच डास जे असतात मॉस्किटो हे मलेरिया आपल्या बॉडीमध्ये ट्रान्सफर करण्याचं काम करतात. हे तयार कुणापासून होतंय तर प्लाझ्मोडियम पासून. पण प्लाझ्मोडियम आपल्या बॉडीमध्ये आणण्याचं काम हे मॉस्किटोद्वारे केलं जातं. हा मॉस्किटो पहिल्यांदा मलेरिया झालेल्या माणसाला बाईट करतो. त्या रक्ताबरोबर मलेरिया झालेल्या माणसाचं जे रक्त मॉस्किटोच्या बॉडीमध्ये जातं त्याच्याबरोबर त्या स्पोअर मलेरियाच्या मॉस्किटोच्या बॉडीमध्ये येतात, आणि तोच मॉस्किटो जेव्हा सुदृढ हेल्दी माणसाला बाईट करतो तेव्हा ते स्पोअर मलेरियाच्या पेशंटचे तो हेल्दी माणसामध्ये इंजेक्ट करतो, आणि त्यामुळे हेल्दी माणसाला काय होतो, मलेरिया होतो. सो व्हेक्टर ऑर कॅरियर मीन्स व्हॉट, the insect which is responsible for transmission of disease from one person to another person is called as a vector. Vector म्हणजे काय करतो, कॅरी करतो डिसीज एका माणसाकडून दुसऱ्या माणसाकडे, त्याला म्हणायचं वेक्टर. सो इन दिस डिसीज मॉस्किटो acts as a vector which carries the disease towards the human being from the that infected person to the healthy person. Okay, we are not going to deep discussion in the malaria because it is not a part of our syllabus. Here we have to keep in mind only the example of this sporozoan. The information that I am giving here, that is extra one, it is not related to the NCERT books. So sporozoans means their stage which is infected the human being is the spore like stage. In 11th standard we are going to discuss in detail the disease malaria, where you will study what is meant by spore, how they get infected to the human being. But here you should know only that is the plasmodium is example which cause the disease malaria in the human being, and the spore stage of this plasmodium is infective to the human being. Okay, so these are the diverse in number, variety of numbers are there which are included in sporozoans. They are parasitic, they are present inside the body of the other organism where it causes the diseases. Well-known example is the plasmodium which causes the disease malaria, and infective stage is the spore stage. So here students, we have completed the last group of this kingdom Protista, that is called as the protozoan. Now how we can memorize this protozoans, or how can we listen all the points or concentrate on all the points of this kingdom protozoans, group protozoans. So protozoans means you should know first the names of 4 groups: amoeboid, flagellated, ciliated protozoan, and the last one is a sporozoan. Second thing is that you should first know the examples of each group. Amoeboid, that is the amoeba, entamoeba. Flagellated, that is the trypanosoma. Ciliated, that is the paramecium, and sporozoan, that is the example is of the plasmodium. Okay. Next point is that which group is non-parasitic? Only the ciliated protozoan, while amoeboid, flagellated, and the sporozoans are the parasitic one. Okay. Now next thing is that all these points are discussing for the MCQ point of view. If the question is asked that gullet is the characteristics of, that is the ciliated protozoan, example is the paramecium. Malaria disease is due to, the example answer is the plasmodium. Sleeping sickness is the disease is due to, the answer is the trypanosoma. Okay. So these are the some of the important points from this group, and the name of that group is called as the protozoan. Okay. So this is the last part of the protozoan, where we have completed from the kingdom Protista. So second kingdom Protista is also useful for the exam point of view, and we should know all the examples and the characteristics of this group. Okay. So here we have completed the second group, that is the kingdom Protista. Now third kingdom that we are now going to discuss is the kingdom Fungi. Okay. So first kingdom Monera, second kingdom Protista, and the third kingdom that we are going to discuss is the kingdom Fungi. So which are the important things in this kingdom Fungi that we discuss first? Kingdom Fungi. See, in the first lecture we have discussed that Monera are the unicellular, but from Protista to the Animalia, all organisms are the multicellular. Okay. But first you have to know that multicellular means the kingdom Fungi are the multicellular organisms. Okay. So first thing is that they are all multicellular, means their body is made up of many cells. But there is one exception to this multicellularity of the fungi, and that is called as the yeast, because yeast is the only organism which is unicellular, and yeast is an example of the fungi. Okay. So everyone should know that number of times this question is asked that yeast, which is an example of the fungi, is only one organism which is made up of only one cell, that is a unicellular. But other than yeast, all the fungi which are present around us, which are present everywhere, are made up of the many cells. So it is very important part from the fungi. That is a exception to the multicellular structure of the fungi is the yeast, because it is made up of only one cell. Okay. Now we will see the number of characteristics of this fungi. Okay. In tabular form, we have seen that fungi are the heterotrophic organisms. They are heterotrophic, not autotrophic, because these fungi do not have a structure which can be able to prepare them food. So these are the heterotrophic organisms, and they always depends on the other organisms for their food requirement. Okay. Next point, that they have the different morphological structure, and they are found in different habitat. Different morphological structure means there are number of examples of the fungi, but all fungi are differ from each other in their structure. They do not have the same type of structure, same type of the body pattern. Their body pattern is different, so we call it as they are structurally different, as well as they are found in different habitat. Not all fungi are present in generally same habitat. There are various types of the habitat. Then what is mean by habitat? Habitat means the place where that fungi lives, that is called as the habitat. So they have different morphological structure, they have different habitat where they will be observed. Third point is that they are cosmopolitan. They are cosmopolitan. What is cosmopolitan? The meaning of cosmopolitan is that they are found all over the world. ओके, जगामध्ये सगळीकडे तुम्हाला फंगाय पाहायला मिळतात. सो इट इज कॉल्ड ॲज अ कॉस्मोपॉलिटन इन डिस्ट्रीब्युशन अँड यू विल ऑब्झर्व दॅट दे आर प्रेझेंट इन एअर, they are found in water, they are found in soil, even they are present on the plant and the animal. So here you will find that this fungi has the cosmopolitan distribution. They are found everywhere, but they are also present in the air, in the water, in the soil, and on the body of the plants and animal as a parasite. Okay, so here in every habitat you will find the presence of this fungi. They are found on plant, animal, air, water, soil, and they have the cosmopolitan distribution. They are found all over the world. Next important point of this fungi is that these fungi are generally found in which area? They are found in warm and moist area. It is the best place for growth of the fungi. Which place? Warm and moist area. Warm म्हणजे ओलसर जागा आहे, दमट हवामान आहे, पाणी मॉइश्चर आहे एन्व्हायरमेंटमध्ये, ओलसर पण आहे एन्व्हायरमेंटमध्ये, त्यामुळे warm area and moist. Warm and moist म्हणजे somewhat same meaning is that there. Moist means पाणी असलेली जागा, ओलसर जागा, where you can observe the growth of the fungi. So in every area where the moist area is there, there will be growth of the fungi. Okay, so all these are about introductory part of the fungi. That the important thing from this part is that yeast is the example of the fungi which is exception to the multicellular structure of the fungi because it is unicellular one. Second one is that all fungi are exclusively heterotrophic. They depend on the other organism for their food requirement. The best place for the growth of the fungi is the moist and the warm area, and they have the cosmopolitan distribution found all over the world at every place, at every habitat. Okay, so this is about the introductory part of the fungi. Now we will see the structure of this fungi, how it is formed, and now we will going to discuss the body structure of this fungi and the important part of it. So next to it, that these fungi, as they are heterotrophic, cosmopolitan in distribution, these fungi body structure is that their body is made up of a thin, slender, filamentous structure. So it is a slender, thin, filamentous structure, and the name of that structure is called as the hyphae. See here, the body of the fungi is made up of a thin, slender, म्हणजे अतिशय नाजूक अशा स्ट्रक्चर, थ्रेड लाइक स्ट्रक्चर तयार झालेली बॉडी, that is called as the hyphae. Hyphae may be called as a basic plan of the body of the fungi. Thus, as we have seen that the cell is the basic structural and functional unit in the body of the living organism. Like that, the cell, the structure of the hyphae is there. This hyphae has a basic body plan because the hyphae, different types of the different hyphae come together and they form the structure of the body of the fungi. So these fungi are thin, thread-like. These hyphae are thin, thread-like structure, and all these hyphae come together and they form a structure that is called as the mycelium. Now what is mycelium? Mycelium means it is a vegetative part of the fungi. It is a vegetative part of the fungi which form the body of the fungi. So body of the fungi, in other term we call as a mycelium, and that body of fungi is a vegetative part. It is not a reproductive part. It do not take part in the reproduction. So other than reproduction, the body part remain, that is called as a vegetative part, and the vegetative part of the fungi is called as a mycelium, and that mycelium is made up of thin thread-like structure, and that structure is called as the hyphae. So important thing is that hyphae is a thread-like structure which comes together and they form the mycelium. Mycelium is a vegetative part of the fungus. Okay, so if we separate this hyphae, then you will find the thin thread-like structure. Or if we separate the mycelium, you will find that thin thread-like structure, and that is called as the hyphae. So hyphae's aggregation is called as a mycelium. And if we separate the mycelium, then you will observe this hyphae. So this hyphae, if we enlarge the structure of this hyphae, then you will find there are two types of hyphae, that is called as cenocytic hyphae and the septate hyphae. But make it clear that hyphae are the thin filamentous thread-like structure which has a covering, and the covering of the hyphae is called as cell wall, because outer covering of any organism is called as cell wall. So this hyphae is also surrounded by a structure, and that is called as the cell wall. And inside that hyphae you will find that one or more nuclei is there. Cell-like structure is present inside this hyphae. So hyphae's outer covering is called as cell wall. Inside the hyphae there are one or more nucleated structure is present. All the material that we will find in the cell is present inside this hyphae. So make it clear about the hyphae and how this hyphae form the mycelium. Now we'll discuss the two types of hyphae, that is called as cenocytic hyphae and the septate hyphae. So if we enlarge the structure of the hyphae, then you will get two types of this hyphae, and these hyphae are, suppose this is the enlarged structure of this hyphae. Okay, it is thread-like structure, but when we observe it under the microscope, you will get this enlarged structure, and here you will find continuous tube-like structure, and there is many nuclei. So these are the nucleus, but if more than one nucleus is present, we call it as a nuclei. So all this round part is the nuclei. It is the cytoplasm. This one is called as the cytoplasm of the hyphae. This is called as the cell wall of the hyphae. And this enlarged structure of the hyphae having the many nuclei, that is called as multinucleated structure. It is a continuous tube-like structure. No partition of the separation is there in between this nuclei, and such a structure of the hyphae are called as the cenocytic hyphae. It is cenocytic hyphae. Okay, and the second type of the hyphae is there that has the partition in between these nuclei, and that is called as the septate hyphae. So second structure of the hyphae is like this. Same structure will be there, but difference is that they have partition in between this nuclei, and they are called as septate hyphae. So these are the two important points about this hyphae. That means these are of without partition, continuous tube-like, many nucleated structure, then we call it as a cenocytic hyphae. But when they have partition in between these nuclei, then we call it as a which hyphae? Septate hyphae. Okay, this is about the hyphae part of the fungi, and you have to concentrate on the two types of the hyphae, that is cenocytic and the septate hyphae. Again, I am going to repeat the same point that hyphae are the filamentous, thin, thread-like structure. Number of hyphae come together and they form the mycelium, and mycelium is nothing but the body of the hyphae, but it is called as a vegetative part of the it is called as a body of fungi. Mycelium is a body of fungi. It is called as a vegetative part of the fungi. Okay. So first here we clear that we say that these fungi are the heterotrophic because they cannot prepare their food and they absorb mostly the organic matter or the soluble organic food from the dead body part, and so they are majoritarily saprophytic in nature. we have seen the term number of times that saprophytic means the organism which absorb food material from dead and decaying organism, that we call as a saprophytic. No doubt these fungi, not all fungi are saprophytic, but majority of them are the saprophytic. They absorb the organic matter, or they absorb the or soluble food from the dead organic matter, dead plant, dead animals, and that is called as the saprophytic. While other fungi either acts as a parasite, grow on the body of the other organism, or live inside the body of the other organism and absorb the ready-made food from that particular organism. That's why we call it as a heterotrophic organism. The fungi has association with other organisms also, okay, but one point is there that I am going to discuss here, that is, you should know some of the fungi which are present on around us, okay. So which are these examples of the fungi? Now the examples of these fungi are that mold on bread. घरामध्ये ब्रेडवर जी बुरशी येते त्याला म्हणायचं मोल्ड, ओके. मोल्ड ऑन ब्रेड म्हणजे बुरशी जी आहे, दॅट इज अ एक्झाम्पल ऑफ द फंगाय. सेकंड वन इज द मशरूम or toadstool. Mushroom, all of you know that this is the structure of the mushroom. In Marathi we call it as alim. This mushroom are of two types: edible means eatable mushroom, and non-edible mushrooms are called as the toadstool. So mushrooms are such a structure which is mainly eaten for their nutritious value by the human being. These mushrooms are of two types: edible mushroom and non-edible mushroom. So here name is given in NCERT as mushroom or toadstool, means mushrooms which are eaten, and the non-eaten mushrooms are called as the toadstool. Then the third example is the yeast, which we have seen as a unicellular yeast fungi. This yeast is example of fungi which is used for production of the wine and the bread. That means the bread in the bakery and the wine produced in the industry are mainly produced due to the yeast. Then second one is the white spot on mustard. Mustard means in Marathi we call it as a mori. On the mustard plant, on the leaves there are white spots are there, and this white spot on the mustard plant are due to the fungi. Then wheat rust. Wheat rust is the name of the disease of the wheat which is due to the fungi Puccinia. Then what is mean by wheat rust? रस्ट म्हणजे मराठीमध्ये आपण गंजणे म्हणतो. एखादं गंजलेला पाड बघितलं त्याच्यापाशी आपल्याला ब्राउनिश स्पॉट पाहायला मिळतात लोखंडावर वगैरे. तसं तुम्हाला व्हीटच्या लीव्सवर काय पाहायला मिळतात? व्हाईट ब्राउनिश स्पॉट पाहायला मिळतात. सो व्हीट रस्ट इज द नेम ऑफ द डिसीज रिलेटेड टू द व्हीट, and it is due to the fungi Puccinia. Then there are another example, that is antibiotics which are produced by the fungi Penicillium. Antibiotics means the medicine which cure the number of diseases, and such a medicine or antibiotic is prepared from the fungi Penicillium. So some of the examples of the fungi are given here. Again we will revise. Mold on bread, बुरशी जी ब्रेडवर येते, it is a fungi. Mushroom, the umbrella like structure is present, that is called as mushroom. It is of two types: edible and non-edible. Non-edible poisonous mushroom is called as the toadstool. Then yeast, which is a unicellular fungi used for making bread and beer. White spot on mustard. Mustard is a plant which in Marathi called as a mori. On that mustard leaf there are white spots are there. It is one kind of disease, and that white spot are nothing but the spots of the fungi. Then wheat rust is a disease on the wheat, and it is due to the fungi that is called as Puccinia. And antibiotics which are used for the medicine to cure the various types of the infections in the human body, to cure the various types of the diseases, that antibiotics mainly prepare from the fungi that is called as penicillium. So here mold, mushroom or toadstool, then white spot, yeast, penicillium, Puccinia and penicillium are the names of the fungi where you will find around us. So in today's lecture, students, we have completed the protozoan group from the kingdom Protista, and we have started the next point, that is the kingdom fungi. And from this kingdom fungi, some of the important parts we have discussed today, that is the cosmopolitan nature of this fungi, warm and moist environment of this fungi, and this fungi's body is made up of hyphae. Hyphae from the mycelium. Hyphae are of two types, sinusoidal and the septate hyphae. And now we have seen the examples of this fungi. Okay, in next lecture we will discuss the next part of the fungi. Thank you.